you guys? Welcome back to the Dre Files, featuring yours truly, your bestie for the resty, Ariandre. But you can call me Andre because we're friends and all. Y'all know how we do, so we about to get into the promo because I know y'all peeped the sweat already. It says, "Kiss me, I'm gay" on the front. Very simple, very tame. But when you turn around, you just see a beautiful black gay couple. I wore that during Pride and got hella compliments, so y'all might as well just copy some because this is how you let people know. Like, go ahead and give me a little kiss. Give me a little kiss. You can go ahead and copy yours at ariandre.com. That's ariandre.com. But enough with the promo. Let's get serious because I need a rant, okay? I've had the most catastrophic, overwhelming week of my life, okay? And it started with my car keys flushing down an automatic toilet. We're not gonna go into too many details of what all transpired these last couple of weeks, but let's just say this week has been trash. This week has tried me. It has pushed me to bounds of no end. I just said, wow, things just keep happening. When is it gonna stop? When is it gonna stop? I was so overwhelmed. And the tip of my iceberg was going in for a job opportunity to excel myself to that next level. And I left feeling unseen, unheard, underappreciated, frustrated, angry, all at once because it wasn't even about my work ethic that would get me the job. No, it's about who you know and who you're related to. And that pissed me off more than I can fathom. But even though I was going through all of these, and even though I went through this process with work, it taught me a lot about myself and how to deal with emotional strain and when I get overwhelmed. Because baby, last week took me to the point of having a panic attack. That's how much was just happening in my life. Okay. And I would love to go into details, but I'd be sitting here for hours. Okay. But I digress because I will not let my emotions rule my life. And I learned a lot in this past week about how to deal with my emotions and what are good ways to help me do that. So now I'm about to pass that knowledge on to you so that we can build a community of people who are strong-willed and are not letting their emotions rule them. So for starters, one thing that I learned that works for me is that I must calm my mind by assessing what is my problem and what isn't my problem. What things I can control versus things I cannot control. Because the things you cannot control, you're wasting your energy. It's making you feel different types of things. And for me personally, it was making me feel anxious because I couldn't control it. Now things over here, like the way I respond, how I act, my work ethic, those things I can control, those things I can keep true to myself. But anything I can't control, get it out of here. It's stressing you out. Get it out. But for me, that helped me because I literally just boxed up everything that wasn't in my control and returned it to sender. And it got rid of a lot of the emotions that went with it because I just had to process like, hey, I have no control over this. So what's the point of me getting out of my character? What's the point of me getting mad and messing up my peace for stuff that I can't control? But focus on the things that you can control, like your reaction to things, your boundaries, your work ethic, how you are as a person. Those are things that you can control and you can take heed to. Another thing I learned was writing it out helps. When I get overwhelmed, everything is jumbled in my mind. Like I can hear that same thought that's like, hey, this is what's actually happening. This is what's actually going on. But then you have anxiety, then you have anger, then you have everything else trying to fill in the blanks or talk their noise. You got anxiety over here, like, oh my gosh, but what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? And then you got anger over here creating random scenarios that's making you more angry that never even happened. And then you got frustration over here, like, oh, I hate this, like this is unfair, da da da. A lot just going on mentally. And when I'm overwhelmed mentally and there's a whole bunch of other noise, it's hard for me to hear that same thought that this is what's actually going on. And you need to focus on that. So for me, When everything was all jumbled up in my head, I started writing. And I didn't care or try to put it into a fine tuned writing font or however you're supposed to do it properly. I just wrote how I felt, scribbled how I was feeling, like just got it from my mind onto paper. And that right there quieted so much noise because now it's like, all right, boom, this is how I'm feeling. I'm finally getting out. It's almost like ranting to someone. It's almost like screaming to the top of your lungs at somebody, but like very quietly. Writing it out worked for me, but ranting, I thought ranting was the same as just me getting it out. But me writing all my emotions and how I was feeling out and being able to talk the way I want to talk, cuss out who I want to cuss out, that was more freeing than just ranting to somebody else who's also going to put more energy and heat to the flame, you know? But when you have other people's responses coming in as well, especially when your anger is validated, it kind of makes you a little bit more angry, you're not gonna lie. Me just getting it out was like a calming sense versus someone else igniting it as well, you know? I also showed myself some real growth. In the past, whenever I'd be overwhelmed and there'd be so much noise mentally, I'd run to a little smoke, you know, to quiet the noise and just ignore it. Let it disappear and not think about it until one random day it comes and smacks me in the face, you know? I just put it to the side. Don't really think about it. Ignore it. But that's not healing. That's just ignoring. That's just moving something out of the way because it's too much for you right now. But you have to go through the motions of dealing with it in order to heal from it. So instead of me going to a little smoky smoke when I was feeling like this, I did the process. You know, I wrote everything down. I felt my feelings. I processed my feelings. I saw what was in my control, what wasn't in my control. And then slowly but surely, I calmed myself back down and realized my worth. I processed it. I broke it down. I took it piece by piece and dealt with it rather than just ignoring it and hiding it away. And honestly, I feel great. Did I still smoke though? Yes, after the fact. But that's the problem that I used to have is I would smoke before and never deal with it. So now I'm dealing with it and then smoke. I know I'm supposed to stop smoking, but hey, we're on somewhat of a path, okay? I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. But at least I process my emotions before running away to it, okay? Amen. Small things, small thing. But yeah, the final thing that I learned was that you also cannot make decisions in an emotional state. Because the way I was thinking when I was high emotion, very overwhelmed, all the emotions just going on, I was very like 100%, 100%, like, you know, like taking it there in my mind. But as soon as I calmed down, I was like, you know what? This is not even worth it. This is not even worth it. I want to make this decision. And it was very tame versus what I was going to decide while in my very high emotional state, you know? So yeah, don't make decisions when you're emotional because it's always going to be an extreme version because of how you're feeling, especially if you're angry. Like if you're angry and you make a decision while you're angry, you're going to have a very extreme version solution for what would have been if you calmed down first. Take a moment for yourself. Take a moment to calm down and process before you make decisions so that you can make the best decision for yourself and actually think about it versus being in it or going at it from an angry point of view. But the last and biggest thing that I learned was no job should have this much power over you. For me, I was getting so heated, so angry by a job that was just a paycheck. It shouldn't be the thing that's getting you out of your character, making you feel all these types of emotions. You're letting it rule you when you do that. And I just had to learn my worth. Like, I'm better than this. And this is not my lifetime goal. So why am I even wasting energy on it? You know? It's a paycheck. Treat it as such. Go to work, do your job, go home. Don't make it more than what it is. Now, for the stuff that you are going to put your heart and soul into, stuff that you want to bring into fruition, stuff that you want in your life for the rest of your life, that's what you need to put your focus on. My small businesses that I have on the side, I need to get angry about that. I need to get angry about that when I'm not moving up to the next level. I need to put my energy towards that because me giving my energy to this paycheck, it's not it. Me giving my energy to something that I want for my life, for the long term, that's what you need to give your energy to. Never let a job rule you. Never let a job mess up your emotions and how you're feeling. Put that energy towards something that's going to be fulfilling to you, you know? But yeah, enough on that. I hope we learned a little something. And honestly, let me know if these ways help you. Let me know if writing it out or assessing what you can control and can't control works for you. So, enough with the weekly challenge of life and how to emotionally overcome. Let's get into something more fictional fantasy and happy, you know? Let's get into a little bit lighter of a mood and get into the book. So, as you know, we are reading the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I just read this woolly mammoth of a third book, okay? Wow, wow, wow. The ending of this was wow, wow, wow. I was hooked and on the edge of my seat. So, this is my stopping place from when I went to the gym. And this is how much I read while I was on my phone the same day. Like, that's how much I was reading through that. But all right, I'm about to spoil a lot. So if you haven't read the book, just go ahead and skip this section. If you stayed this long, I enjoyed you. Thank you for being here. But if you have read, come join me and like just see if you also felt these scenes that I'm about to talk about. Feyre, she is a that is a warrior now. That is a warrior now. That is high lady now, okay? She is doing her big one in this book right here, okay? And she needs to be animated because the scenes of her fighting were just so immaculate, so jaw-dropping. And I'm just about to rapid fire different scenes that I was just like, you know what I'm saying? So boom. Obviously, the start of the book, she goes to Tam Tam's court, destroys his court. We love that. But now we move on to when she's leaving. And the way she used her mind control, her mind powers to smash High Priestess' hand without even touching her because she was doing too much with these men's out here, bad. Just to turn around and fight the twins, bad. The way threw their bodies on each other. Just for her and Lucien to leave and get chased by Lucien's brothers through the seasons. Oh my gosh, the fight scenes and the chase scene, that was just immaculate. Now I'm gonna skip a little bit to the part where she starts fighting in Valeris. She's made it back home, everything's good, but then Hybern finds out about this secret kingdom, more than likely from the queens that basically turned against them. Now they said, oh, Hybern, they got a secret kingdom over here. You might want to do something about that. Hybern was like, bet, sent his people after them. The way Feyre was fighting, the way she took on the Ator that had her under the mountain. Oh yeah, she had revenge for that mofo. Okay, she had revenge out for him. Like they were fighting, he had took her into the sky. She was just doing her biggest one. And then what she did was she froze him. I believe she froze the Ator to where he was falling now. And before they got to the ground where they both would have went splat, she disappeared and winnowed away. What? Wow. So boom. Now we know that the war is happening. Hybern is out. He's ready for war and he's finna take over this human kingdom, okay? But now we got to get all 7 courts. We got to bring everything. We got to bring all the power we can. We got to get the 7 courts together so that we can fight together. And as they're doing that, and once they finally have the meeting between the 7 courts, that was because I was not expecting Tamlin to show up. I was really not. I literally thought Tamlin was the bad guy. But, you know, in this, he is starting to show, like in this book, he does show that he's actually a good guy, I guess. I think my favorite part was when Reese shut everybody up at the meeting. They forgot how strong my boy was. They forgot what type of power he holds. And when he reached into Tamlin's mind and shut him up to where all he could do was like a fish, couldn't say nothing. Ah! All because he was being disrespectful to Pharaoh. Like, when Azriel beat the dog crap out of Eris at the meeting because he wanted to talk his smack to more. And I just love how Reese was like, stop it, my boy. And he wasn't listening, and it wasn't until Pharaoh came over to him and told him to stop. That was Reese giving her the chance to show her power that she has over him. But he was basically saying, look, my lady got that power. People listen to her. She's in charge. So show some respect. Pipe down, all of you. Like, that was just wow. Just for Hybern to break the wall. And now we got to go into battle early. So boom, everything's happening. Battle is starting. But Hybern has a plan to just get them tired. Get them tired by going through all these small little battles. So that by the time they get to the final battle, they're already tired. So boom, it started out with just the 4 courts, right? It started out with just the 4 courts against each other. But before anybody started battling, it was like a power of magic. Like, I think they both had shields on, and before the battle even started, they just on opposite ends trying to fight each other magically, trying to break the shields. And once the shields were broken, before the battle starts, we pull out 3 big kahunas before the battle. There was this monster that lived at the bottom of their library. Nobody knows how it got there, but it's an ancient force, and it slaughters people in its wake. So they made a deal with that to come and fight. The Bone Carver came. The Bone Carver is this ancient being that's not of this world, and it put itself in jail in order to hide from its sister and its brother, who are way stronger. But then we also got, boom, another person who pops in, and the Bone Carver like, what? He about to run off because it's his sister, the Weaver, the blind lady from the woods who like can sniff anything and eats people in order to stay like young. Yeah, that Weaver. Yeah. Everybody's pulling out all the stops. We got 3 big kahunas. They go into battle and they start racking. And then the army's coming after them. So us, the four courts is fighting behind the 3 big kahunas against Hybern right now. We're starting to get pushed back. The goal is Feyre, Amren, and her 2 sisters need to get to the cauldron in order to cast this spell from the book in order to nullify and wipe out the entire Hybern army and Hybern himself. Have to wait until Hybern is distracted so that he can be away from the cauldron so they can get to it. So that's the plan. It's getting to a point where everything's clashing, everything's going. So now we're moving. Feyre, Amren, and the sisters are going and they're trying to get to the cauldron. Apparently, Reese made a deal with the Weaver, built them a path all the way to the cauldron. So she's killing people, but she's making a pathway through the war all the way up to Hybern headquarters, basically. So they're following that. But then Nessa, the sister, starts getting this weird pain. She falls to the ground. She starts throwing up. Next thing you know, Hybern sends out a cauldron blast that wipes out anybody in its wake. Just blasts the thing out like a freaking laser beam and turns everybody that was in that blast into ash. Everybody's like, we didn't know it done that. Like, what the heck was that? And then next thing you know, Nessa does it again. She starts throwing up. She starts, what's going on? What's going on? She's made from the cauldron. So every time the cauldron is powering up now, she's feeling it. She's feeling it. She's feeling the connection. And she's like, oh my gosh, something's gonna happen. But then she starts screaming, Cassian, Cassian, Cassian. He leaves his flank of people and comes flying over to her as fast as possible. She knew he'd come, but then next thing you know, Hybern sends out a blast and destroys the entire team that he was leading in the skies. He would have been in the middle of it, had it not been for her calling him away. Wow. But she called him over, and my thing is, right, why are y'all pretending like y'all don't like each other? Sometimes y'all mad and y'all angry and y'all can fight, but then in the middle of this war and stuff, y'all want to kiss and be lovey-dovey and show y'all feelings for each other. Like, what is this? I can't understand y'all, but at the same time, I just want y'all to be together. Like, what? Stop playing in each other's face. Anyways, Nessa's out of commission. Elaine's gonna stay with Nessa, so now it's just Feyre and Amren who need to make it to the cauldron. So boom, they're following the path of the Weaver to try and stop this cauldron from blasting off again and destroying this entire army. But then, as they're moving, we see some people coming from the seas. And we're like, hold on, what is this now? Why is it Feyre's father? He went out. That thing he left their house for so long, he went out to find an army of people by, I think it was this old priestess or something. Her dad found the Fire Lady and her army, and then they came this way. But on their way, they also found two lost people. Not lost people, but it was like this old story about these two people who fell in love, mated, and ran off together. But they were on this island, hidden from everybody, with a full-on army, full-on people. It was humans and fae all mixed together and just living and thriving, kind of like Valeris, but in their, like, under these two people type thing. They met up with them on the way here, and now it's like both of them ships coming in. They're taking out Hybern's seaboard. You know what I'm saying? So boom, you got us four coming from the front, them coming from the side. And then over here, you got your guy, Jurian, who was on Hybern's team because Hybern brought him back to life after spending 500 years as Amarantha's ring and being able to see whatever was going on for 500 years. That drove that man crazy. But he was basically coming back, and the only thing he wanted was to find these two people because one of them was his lover. That's a story within itself. It was a lot going on with them. But Jurian linked up with Elaine's ex-husband, who if she was still human, would have married, and his army. And both of them are coming in from this side. So you got humans coming in this way, Feyre's father and the Lost Tribe and all of them coming in this way, and the four teams coming in this way. Oh my gosh, what's that out in the distance? Is that Tamlin and the other two courts that were missing from the party? Like, we are surrounding them at this point. But Hybern is still holding it down. They need something more. This is not enough distraction. He's still just sitting there letting his armies do what they do. Nessa's like, I will distract him. I will power up all the way over here and make it seem like I'm about to send off a blast just like the one from the cauldron. Faye will go one way with Amren. Nessa and Cassian and Elaine go the other way. So boom. Cassian's protecting Nessa. That was the whole thing. Cassian is to protect Nessa while she lets off this blast. And hopefully it's enough to distract Hybern and maybe fight him off until the cauldron is doing whatever it needs to do in order to wipe out the army. So boom. They make it to the cauldron following the Weaver. the Weaver, done built a path for them, and like literally is just sitting there like, all right, we made it now. Here you go. And so then they're invisible and they're waiting for Hybern to leave. Nessa on the other side of the field starts powering up. You can feel her power. Hybern's like, what the heck is going on? So he's like marching down, marching down. The only person he sees is the Weaver because Feyre and Amren are invisible right now. He grabs the Weaver by her throat and breaks her neck. Breaks it, and keeps walking, and then winnows to where Nessa is. Like, why are these people dying? The first blast took out the bone carver. And that's when we realized that the only reason why he wanted her to get the mirror was because he just wanted to see if she was worthy enough for him to die for. That's so sad. And then the sister gets her neck snapped by Hybern himself. What? This is so crazy. Like, people are just dying like good people. Anyways, Hybern disappears. They get to the cauldron. Amren basically said, haha, you thought there was a way to solidify this? No, it's just you. You're on the cauldron. You're the only person on the cauldron. And because you've now looked into the mirror and you figured out your true self, it's not going to break you this time. So hold on for dear life. I can't help you. What? Excuse me? So as she attaches to the cauldron, she's able to see what's happening on the battlefield. It's like the cauldron has an energy, and as that energy moves, she sees what it sees. So it's going through the battle. It's showing different scenes of what's going on, and then it makes it to Hybern. It makes it to Nessa and Cassian. So she sees them gearing up to make this blast of some sort. And then bing, bada, boom, as soon as she's about to let it off, as soon as Nessa's about to let it off, Hybern pops in front of her with her father in hand. He's like, yeah, you thought you was about to set that off. No, like, I got your pops. Ha, what you think about that? Breaks his neck. Nessa's so distraught, she used all that energy, and now it's gone. Cassian comes in, tries to fight Hybern. He's getting whammed out. Nessa's trying to figure out what to do. Cassian's like, run. She's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not finna run. She comes and tries to protect Cassian, like lays on top of him. Hybern's slowly walking. He's like, look, I'm coming for you. He's coming for you. But next thing you know, a sword goes through his throat, and out from behind him pops little old Elaine. Little old, nice old Elaine stabs the crap out of him. Wow. He's dead. Nessa comes over, takes it even further. She's just going at him with the freaking knife. He's dead. Then we pop back to the cauldron. Pop over back to the cauldron. Favor's still hanging on. Now Amren's like, all right, we got to recite this spell. They recite the spell. Amren basically gets in and turns into her godlike self. The only reason why she didn't want to unlock herself before was because she wasn't going to remember anything, or so she assumed. She thought she wasn't going to remember these people that she loved and come to have a family with. So when she does turn into this god, fire, whatever, bright light, she does end up remembering them. And she's like, just don't run. Like she told them beforehand, don't run. So everybody on our team, they didn't run. And all the Hybern soldiers started running. She blasted them to oblivion. Wiped out the entire place. Everybody's done for. But in doing that, in opening and unlocking that power that Amren had, it broke the cauldron. So now everything's wiped out. We think everything's good, but no, the power from inside the cauldron is now about to create like some sort of black hole that's just going to wipe everything out. They must build the container back. So boom, Feyre's like, I don't know what to do. Here comes Rhys. He comes up behind her. He's like, oh snap. Like, what do you need to do? It was like something that was saying like made and unmade, they're one and the same. So like whatever you did to unmake it, you can make it again. So she's putting all this power into it. It's not enough. Rhys attaches himself to her and he's like, look, take from me, take my power. So boom, she's taking his power, her power, trying to put this thing back together. And when it finally is said and done and it works, she turns around and Rhys is flat on the floor, dead. Dead. He used all his powers in order to put this cauldron back together and is now dead. She knew he was going to give his last, and that's what she was trying to prevent, just for it to be the thing that helped save the world. She's crying. She's crying. All the High Lords now are at this little section, and they see Rhys dead. She's like, save him. Save him. Y'all have done it before. You did it with me. Save him. Give him your energy, please. Everybody's slowly starting to give. She's trying to give herself, but she don't know how to do the little life orb. She is high lady, so she can give the life orb to him. She just don't know how to do it. So she's yelling, how do I freaking do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? And they're telling her how she finally does it, but then it's missing. He's not breathing. He's missing one piece, and it's Tamlin. Tamlin strolls in, and he's like sitting there looking, and she's like, please, like, I'll do anything. Like, please just help him. Like, begging, like, I will do anything. I do not care. Tamlin's just finally like, I guess he finally let her go and finally realized that she's in love with somebody else and is not coming back. And he was just like, I just want you to be happy, and gave the life force, and it brought him back. I was like, wow. The way this ending, and the way everybody came into play, like characters we heard about but never seen, everybody just coming into play for one big battle. It was just so amazing to read. And it was just chef's kiss. That ending, crazy work. The fact that they made Rhys die but then come back to life same way, like, I was scared for Feyre. Like, I was actually tearing up because the way she described the feeling of that emptiness, the shell, how it felt to have your mate, like, ripped out of you pretty much. She was going through it in that moment. And, like, to think that he was dead, it was just too much. But, yeah, that was pretty much how it ends. And, yeah, they ate that up. They ate it up so freaking bad. And I just love this storyline. I love this book. Oh my gosh, I'm on the 4th one, but I think it's more so just like showing what happened after the war, how they're cleaning it up. It's not necessarily like a story, but it's just, little scenes and little different point of views of people as they're recovering from this war with Hybern. But now the Fae and human world are connected. There's no wall anymore. They're trying to build connections all over. And it's just, we'll see what this world takes off to be. But oh my gosh, the ending, amazing, immaculate. This book, amazing, immaculate. I loved it. I think this is one of my favorite ones just because all the scenes that they had were just so to me, But yeah. That's all I have for the book talk. I hope you enjoyed because I enjoyed this book, okay? And we're on to the 4th one, about to be the 5th one, okay? But man, oh man, I need this in animated form immediately because these scenes, the war itself, oh my gosh, I just gotta see it. Because the way I'm picturing it in my head is so, Anyways, they ate it up. But that's all I have for the book talk. If you want to join me on a day-to-day as I'm reading this stuff talk, join the Discord. The link will be down below. And talk and comment with me as I'm like reading through the book. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining me. Y'all have an amazing time. Y'all have an amazing week. And I love each and every one of you. And I hope y'all have the best week of your life. But before I go, you already know how I do. I got to give you a kiss of empowerment, of love and faith, and something to tie you over till next week, until I see you. But if you give me consent for a kiss, stay tuned. If not, skip 5 seconds. Mwah, 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 mwah. I just kissed your 4. But, love you. Hope to see y'all again. See you guys.